Greetings and welcome to the Daniel Podcast Show. Okay, y'all, it's that time. Like I promised, I was going to take time out personally to address Katt Williams being on the podcast of Club Shay Shay. Look, I have a lot to say. There's a lot that needs to be unpacked. Bottom line is, I think it was a wonderful show, interview, and look, there's many parts to this show that when Katt is talking about what other comedians like Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, and Cedric the Entertainer, I think we got to just look at this, from a deeper lens. What I'm talking about is this. Hollywood is not owned by black folks. Let's get that straight, right? You have producers, directors, people in Hollywood. We call that old money. Most of those now who's runs Hollywood come out of families who actually used to run Hollywood back in the days, or even some of them was the pioneers of Hollywood. So Katt Williams know this as well as the other comedians. But what Katt Williams have done for us, when you're not in those circles, a lot of times people just look at you and they just like write you off. I can share personal experience. In the early 90s, I actually was doing comedy skits locally here in San Francisco, and it was crazy that one of the first comedy skits that I was involved in, one of the people who actually performed with me, it was talks about putting on a dress. Now, I grew up watching Flip Wilson, all those great comics, and at the time we used to think it was just a part of comedy or something like that. We didn't look at it as, okay, if I put on this dress, I'm compromising myself, I'm violating some type of principles and my integrity. But shortly thereafter, I didn't put on no dress, but shortly thereafter I did the comedy skit, and this was just local community stuff. I didn't get really heavily involved into the comedy because I started becoming more conscious about myself, about my people in my community, so I got heavily involved in trying to undo some of the things that I was involved in the 80s, which was selling drugs and out here with these rivalry issues among turfs. That was me in the late 80s, right? So I had to come to grip with that. Being a comic early, you got to make some hard decisions, because there will be people saying, let's just go for the money. But let me get back to Katt Williams. I want to just personally just say, we need to thank Katt Williams for exposing the reality of Hollywood. We know in Hollywood that there's many of people who go there, thinking that this is my major break, and somehow, some way, now I have arrived, and they don't have no idea that once you get in them circles, the first thing is loyalty that they're looking for, and are you all in? The word we use, you all in. Well, how can you be all in? To be all in, if you can go through the casting couch and you can survive the offers for your soul. Well, not necessarily, like he said, not necessarily your soul, because they didn't offer your soul. But if you give up what makes you a man, a woman, then you have sold yourself, unfortunately, for money, fame, and all those things that people look up to, that eventually, if they prop you up, they can bring you down. So we need to thank Katt Williams for exposing Hollywood. The reason why I'm saying exposing Hollywood, because Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, and Cedric the Entertainer, they are just a smokescreen, in my judgment, of some bigger chess players behind the scene. I'm not making no excuse for them, because according to what my research department, I'm just kidding. Now, according to what I just researched, Kevin Hart is worth $450 million. Steve Harvey is worth $200 million. And Cedric the Entertainer is worth roughly $25 million. So if this is true, and I know you can get different stats and different reports on people earnings, but let's just say this is true. That's $675 million these three comedians is worth. I think if you really have a problem with somebody calling you a sellout, somebody who's saying that you done sold yourself and you're not looking out for the people, I think it's an argument that you can easily win if it's not true. What do you mean? Well, hey, take some of this money, these earnings, and build black institutions. As you can see, my shirt says San Francisco reparations. Cut the check. Now, we've been working, and I sat on that committee, task force committee, for 2.5 years. We prepared a 400 some odd page report, and as you have probably heard, $5 million was part of one of the recommendations that San Francisco owes black people. And this is just to address some of the harms. There was many recommendations, over 200 recommendations, but my point I'm making is that we gave the blueprint to the mayor of San Francisco, to the board of supervisors of San Francisco, and anybody else who would listen and who would have the will to do something about this injustice and past harm against the black community. So what I'm saying is, if you being called a sellout, Kevin Hart or Steve Harvey or Cedric the Entertainer, why can't you take some of that money? You're not going to pay reparations to us, but help us create a legal fund so we can sue San Francisco, the state of California, as well as the United States of America for reparations. That's an idea that I think ultimately we as black people will or must address. We shouldn't have to look for others outside of our community first. If we have 3 top comedians like yourself who's claiming that what Katt Williams is saying is not true, because most of the time, the most guiltiest people among ourselves be the ones who say, oh, you know what, he's just hating. Katt Williams is hating. He's jealous. Well, besides all that, at the end of the day, I haven't heard anything from you 3 comedians about reparations. So I got a problem with that. Anyone, celebrities, entertainers, athletes, if you're not taking time out to speak towards reparations for black people here in America, I'm suspicious of you. To be quite frankly, I'm just suspicious. I don't know what's going on. I mean, look, is clear as day. Cut the check, man. And you need to help us to force them to cut the check. I'm not worth $200 million on paper. I'm worth more than $200 million in the eyesight of God. Because I'm not throwing, roses on myself, but I have the courage. I have the fortitude. I have the nerves to challenge those in position when those in position continue to ignore the bottom line that black people in America have been done wrong, and the injustice, the years of lynching, the incarceration, reparations. Cut the check. And we need comedians like Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, and Cedric the Entertainer to help us with a legal fund to hire a battery of lawyers to file these lawsuits, because now it appears that no one in city government, but a few, actually have the courage to make the move to give black people what was duly owed, reparations. No one. And I'm calling on us, those in who's celebrities, and I think Katt Williams make a very good point about this being 2024 and it's time for exposure of what's going on behind the scenes. Ice Cube said that the same ones who own the record label is actually the same ones who have stock and investments in the prison industry. That's true. As you know, again, Ice Cube, is challenging that old way of doing business by us just, playing in the NBA off times. A lot of the players retire, go broke for whatever reason because they got bad, advisors. And look what happened, man. Some of them is even homeless. Some of them even have to to get just a common 9-to-5 job after playing for an NBA team making millions of dollars. So Ice Cube create the big three. And what I'm saying is, Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, y'all need to support Ice Cube. Y'all need to ensure that his league, is able to function and continue to function independently of even the sponsors who might be moonwalking and backing out because of the pressure of the NBA. So these are some of the examples that we got to just be true about it. We got to be true that you can't go off on Katt Williams for what Katt Williams is saying. Because we know in America, it's all about control. You can't enslave a people if you can't control a people. And a part of that control is the fear that they will take your money or cut you off. Now, we don't use whether you call it black ball or white ball. They want to silence those who would be willing to say what is right and what is fair and what is just. In the Quran, in the Holy Quran, it speaks about, usury. It speaks about, taxation in a way that is, in the eyes of Allah, God, that is not good for none of us. And I think if you look at how America called this capitalist society as, an example for the world, America puts other nations, developing nations as they call it, in an awkward position and take their resources and force them to follow the example of America, which have proven for someone to be rich, someone must be poor. So I think we got to have enough, sense to realize you just can't, continue to be silent in the face of so much truth, because the truth is now, exposing those in Hollywood and everywhere else who's not willing to stand up for the people. So look, let me just play this. Listen to this. This is a wonderful intro to Katt Williams' interview.
Got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle pay the price, want a slice. Got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharp. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, the guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today. Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna love him. Some call him one of the greatest comedians, dead or alive. One of America's greatest entertainers, one of the funniest men on the planet, world-renowned, multi-talented, a comedy legend. He's the top touring comedian selling out arenas. He's a hilarious storyteller, Emmy award-winning actor, voice actor, rapper, writer, producer, director, icon, genius, a national treasure, philanthropist, humanitarian, social activist, a father, one of the great funny men of our generation and any generation, Mr. Katt Williams.
Thank you, sir.
That was
magnificent. You are magnificent at intros, and you did not skimp on mine. I appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Anytime you come to Club Shay Shay, we have to toast.
Yes,
bro, you've been doing it. I mean, you're one of the top touring comedians of all time. You already got started before we started taping.
I did.
Appreciate that. Tell the people at home.
I thought they was lying, and yeah, this particular alcohol is stronger than you think it would be, probably by about 2, and unbelievably smoother and milder by the same maybe 30% than you could possibly expect. And unlike cognacs the world over, this one doesn't taste like wood at the end, and it doesn't taste like it's got artificial colors, and it doesn't taste like it's got artificial flavors. It's a fine product.
He's a connoisseur. You can tell he's a cognac connoisseur. He understands the method that goes into making cognac.
Right. Well, as a comedian, you get free drinks at the club. So all comedians either turn out to be connoisseurs like myself, right, or straight up and down alcoholics like 60% of Hollywood.
Well, thanks for stopping by the club. I understand that you're very, very busy, and for you to take time out of your busy schedule and stop in today, we really, really appreciate it here at Club Shay Shay. So thanks for stopping by, Katt.
And I needed you to know why I came by.
Yeah, I need you to tell us why.
People know I don't go everywhere. I'm not interested in talking to people unless it's like a Larry King or somebody of an amazing ilk that I would actually want to go talk to in real life.
Okay.
I don't do it so I can sell product, and I got things to sell, so let me come talk. You have a great product here, and as a fan base, we love the attention that you spend on the guest. We love how much work you've done, how well you know them, how prepared you are. The same things that we liked about you in football, you brought that on over to here, and that's why it resonates. And the reason I had to come is because you made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
I have watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies. I'm talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here lying to you about it.
You gonna set the record straight?
Hey, look, so check it out. So I noticed that he said Black Hollywood. Katt Williams is a very intelligent, insightful comedian. He's not an ordinary just comedian. This I'm talking about. Katt Williams is really sharing with all of us that look, don't get confused about, the book. On the outside of the book, don't judge this book. You need to look a little deeper because he's explaining and he's wisely showing that he's targeting these Black Hollywood, those who came on this show and lied, not only about him, but he's setting the record straight. And carry on.
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was going to be Money Mike. And Katt Williams was going to be the Santa Claus. Now three quick points. You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't even do curse words because he had a Christian fan base. He was gonna play the pimp. Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
Well, I didn't know
he shouldn't be able. You wouldn't let a athlete that been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home. He wasn't even at the premiere. You telling this man you stole that? Oh, so he could get his name in the same sentence with a great one. It is sad. He was just that bitter when we were shooting it. He told everybody, it should have been my role. Everybody on the scene. Why do you think no cast member has ever said anything?
He couldn't have played that role like you. I thought he
Sir,
was...
no one... Why no... He was with KD? He beat up Terry Crews? Why nobody know this story? You talking about in Hollywood, they switched off roles. You take this and he... What?
Did you know that your insurance company doesn't actually...
That's deep. And what I wanted to just do was just show, quickly that Katt Williams is not trying to indict everybody, right? So Ricky Smiley, as well as the other comedians that he will be talking about in this interview, what Katt Williams is saying is make a lot of sense, because all you have to think about from 2000, or even a little bit before 2000, let's just go back to the Def Jam comedy days. We didn't hear about comedians going back and forth, never really, fighting among each other. It almost appeared that the comedians was united, right? But I remember, and I don't know, did I read this somewhere? Someone told me, but I remember one time they were saying Cedric the Entertainer was trying to call a meeting among the comedians or something, like on some island or something like that, and he made some people in Hollywood very angry because he was trying to unite. I don't think it was just comedians though. I think it was celebrities and entertainers, but it was a good move by, at that time, Cedric the Entertainer, to try to use, his name, his influence to bring people together. I don't know what happened to that, but as you know, Hollywood is not wanting to see black entertainers and celebrities come together, because again, it goes back to control. They want to control black celebrities and keep us divided, so you may have a very few that's making millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, but the community and black people in America is still in a terrible condition. Now, some of you may say, look, just, go to school. It's not on them, it's on yourself. And why do they have to do this for their people and community? Please. I just did a video about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The way this thing works is that people have sacrificed for us to be sitting in these seats. As myself sitting at what time is it? 9 o'clock, January 15, 2024. I'm sitting in a seat because many people died and sacrificed and gave their life that we would have the opportunity to speak to you today. So our ancestors paid a price, and we should be willing to pay another price for the future generations to come, so they will be able to go even higher. This is why all of us have a responsibility. You can only give more if you have more. So we're calling on those who have more to give more in a way, not that you have to keep giving, but what you want to do is create a foundation, the soil for, the beauty of the seed coming up, and the seed itself will produce more trees. The trees will produce more seeds, and that's our job as those who's gifted either with talent and some type of skill that God bless us with, is to help others. So that's why I believe it's easy to disprove if you believe that you're not a sellout, whether you're in Hollywood, whether you play in professional baseball, basketball, football, whether you just work at Safeway. If you want to prove that you're not a sellout, all you have to do is invest money in black institutions and take on those projects again, i.e. reparations, and show that, look, I'm willing to support the whole of our people, no matter what those who may say is controversial or we don't agree with it. That, and to me, would send volumes of positive vibe to those who really who doesn't want to see us as a people come together. We have to be mindful that we have control of the power with the dollars, and you can take them dollars, as whether you're a comedian or again in any other profession, and you can multiply them dollars by your investment. But it's it's really sad when you see all this money being made, 450 million, 200 million, 25 million, 35 million, 100 million, among individuals that look like us. And then they'll come to a speaking engagement at your school and say, just stay in school. Some of them didn't stay in school. Some of them, went out and took major risks to get to the positions that they're in. That's the story I want to hear. We used to say that, like Too Short, for example. Too Short used to have somewhere in one of his songs about a young black millionaire without a high school diploma, right? I know Tupac, many others who was able to become millionaires and make a lot of money. It wasn't necessary because they had letters, of degrees. It's the fact that they went out, they believed in themselves. So why would we say that type or send that type of message to young people or even others and put them on a road to frustration, when we know that if you really, really want to become wealthy, you need to believe in yourself. You need to be like laser beam focused. You need to create a work habit that I think is like you could compare it to Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan when you compare how, or even a Jerry Rice, how Jerry Rice conditioned himself. I'm talking about you got to go all out. Look, I've never been a millionaire, and some would say, well, how in the hell can you tell me how to make millions if you haven't been a millionaire? But this is the thing. Some of us is on different journeys. If, this is what I believe, if God wanted me to be a millionaire earlier in my age, when I was a teenager or even my early 20s, then I think it would have happened. I think God chose a unique path for myself, and I think even when I could make people laugh as a teenager, and then even in high school, I could always make my friends and people laugh. This is what led me to doing comedy skits in the early 90s, but that wasn't my path. My ultimate path that God wanted me to take is where I'm at today. I believe that. Because what if Daniel would have continued to do comedy back in the 90s? And what if Daniel would have put on a dress? I thought about it because, again, I wasn't really conscious when I started getting up doing comedy skits. There's one person that Katt Williams mentioned, which is a very, very, very close friend of mine. He's my comrade. He's my brother. We grew up together. We done, played basketball together. We done did a little bit of everything. we grew up in King Garvey Co-op in the Fillmore area of San Francisco. His name is Mac Minister. We also know him as Chopper, and his name is really Andre Dow. Beautiful, beautiful heart. And shouts out to Mac Minister, free Mac Minister, and he's currently in prison in Nevada prison, and we want them to release him because we know that the DA out there was a setup, and Chopper need to be free, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves on what they doing to this young black man who's innocent. And so shout outs to Mac Minister, free Mac Minister. We was out there about a year ago. We went to court out there, and I'm working on a few things and to connect with him, and we're gonna do something big. Even if we have to put a petition together, if you get a chance, write letters and do stuff. We got to get Mac Minister back home. But Katt Williams brought up Mac Minister in his interview, and I just was thinking about how me and the Mac, we did a comedy skit together back in 1994 in Oregon, in the state of Oregon. We went on like a little camping outing, took a lot of the young people from the neighborhood, and Chopper, Mac Minister, played Tupac, and I played the role of Arsenio Hall. And I still got pictures of this. It's unbelievable that I still got these pictures. But what am I saying here? When I played that role, Arsenio Hall, I mean, I was playing the role of Arsenio Hall back in the early 90s that other people picked up later on. And I mean, I think I played his role pretty well for somebody who was just starting off. But, I had to put on this suit because Arsenio Hall always, came out in the suit. But I had to also do the large, make myself look like Arsenio Hall, and everybody know he got large, big legs behind. So it was hilarious. The young people loved it, and I'm just saying, for being a comic or being a comedian, even then I knew that, you know, you had to take things a little further than others to be willing to make people laugh. So I could actually hear through Katt Williams a lot of what he was saying. I was just thinking about myself and my own personal journey, because I could have easily followed that path. And I know Mac Minister, who actually did stand up, very funny, you know, tell the truth, know how to get them stories, and it was only appropriate that Katt would give shots out to the Mac. And, you know, Mac Minister was on his way, man. Let's be real. Mac Minister would be, I mean, it's no telling how far he would have gotten in Hollywood, and at this point, because he was so real and still real. And we know that a lot of people done took his style and some of his ways, and, you know, we talking about they out there. It's a really, really big thing that we got to understand. And, you know, I'm just, hold on one second, I'm getting caught.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, E? Hey, Doug,
I got good connections with the right people. I got to barber these folks. I met the white boy Robert and my homegirl Lisa from Pride.
Hey, let me say this. Yeah. Doug, I'm in the middle of doing a podcast show about Katt Williams. I'm gonna give a shout out to you, though. Say something that you think appropriate about Katt Williams' recent interview that everybody talking about. I'm just talking about, you know, him and some of the reason why he brought up these comedians' names and what's going on in Hollywood. And then we'll talk later offline about what you was just speaking of.
Right. Well, my opinion on Katt Williams is like he's self-opinionated. He's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to the way he feels. And a lot of comedians and a lot of people in the music business and the entertainment business is unfair. So he's entitled to speak on it. And sometimes these cats need to be called out on their negligence on how they treat other folks when it comes to this industry on the entertainment business. And when cats got to be called out, they got to be called out, man. I mean, they only got to be called out on what they do. If they ain't doing things appropriate and treating the game fair for everybody to win, because it's enough money in the entertainment business for everybody to get some. But a lot of folks ain't fair, because all they want to do is think of themselves and don't want to think about nobody else.
Yeah,
when you look at it like that, and you treat it fair like that, cats gonna come to the table and have something to say, whether it's good or bad, and they gonna have to accept it. Hey, a lot of dudes ain't fair.
So, Doug, I was like just telling the audience that, you know, I did a little research on Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, and Cedric the Entertainer. All together, they worth $650 million. Kevin Hart, $400 million net worth. Steve Harvey, $200 million, and Cedric the Entertainer, $25 million, according to the report that I saw. I want. This is what I said, Doug. That look, it's when somebody call you a sellout and you don't agree with that, it's very easy to disprove that. Just do something to show that you're not a sellout. Like, we know that we trying to get reparations for our people. So why not put a legal fund together and help us sue these cities and counties in the United States to get reparations for black folks? That's one way you could push back on this notion of being a sellout. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts to that is absolutely correct that we do. But, you know, they so tied in with certain type of cliques that if they give any kind of money to a organization outside of their organization, they're going to be banned from the entertainment business. So, you know, that's, and it's not fair, but that's a part of the reality of, like I said, the entertainment business, period. If you don't fit in certain cliques, you don't do certain things a certain way, they'll ban you out. They'll call you out and ban you out. And unfortunately, it's unfair, but at the same time, it's just like, that's the way the game goes, and us as a black community need to come together and change that. Like, I'm on the movement of making changes, and changes throughout the industry right now is making changes as far as everything. We shouldn't allow certain things to be moved in our neighborhoods. We shouldn't allow certain folks come to our neighborhoods, take over our neighborhoods, and then and push us out to the left after they done and made all the money out our communities and neighborhoods. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. So I feel you. I'm with you. 100%.
Hey, yeah, appreciate that, Doug. So, hey, to the people listening, audience, so we got to get Doug on a podcast, because this man right here, I mean, he's like one of our best here in Frisco, Fillmore, Bay Area, man knows, I mean, he's like was there when hip-hop really took off. So, we give kudos and shots out to him, and he ain't going to tell you nothing that he haven't walked. He done walked through it. He know it. He done met people and talked to people and seen how the industry gets real ugly, and it's just really the dope game part 2.
I mean, we got people that's originally from San Francisco. I have saved no names to affect people's identities, but we got power gods in the industry right now, got millions of dollars, and won't even help San Francisco people, but will go outside San Francisco people to help others. And that's crazy. That's number thing. And they got millions. When I say millions, I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. Born and raised from San Francisco, but won't help San Francisco people. That's the most craziest thing I ever heard. But that's the way it goes. It's the entertainment. It's the music entertainment business. Well, screwed up, because when you are an agent or you a physical executive, you're supposed to look for talent wherever you are, and it doesn't matter where the talent comes from. You can pull out a check, even if an artist becomes a failure. It ain't nothing but a tax write-off for a company. So, like I say if I signed you, Ben, and you was an artist, you know what I'm saying, and you became a failure, all I do is write you off and go to the next one. But if you don't even give a person a chance to even see if they got the talent or see if they have the know-how to get in the game and make something happen, you ain't giving nobody opportunity. So you would never know if this person has talent. We'll never know what this person is able to do, because you're not looking out for the best interest of your community and your city.
Wow.
And it's tough. It's tough.
Well, you called in just in time, because I'm in the middle of this.
I can go toe-to-toe with a bunch of people, man. I can go toe-to-toe with a bunch of people, and I can tell the truth on a lot of things. I've helped San Francisco artists build their careers, and they didn't give me a dime. They looked at me like I was nobody after they got in the game, but they begged me like hell to get in the game, and when I put them in the game, they turned their back on me.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot to it, man. And you want more to spit, more to tell, get me on your show. I'll tell them the real.
Yeah, we gonna do that.
I'm not no social media type person, but when it comes to telling the truth, I'm gonna tell the truth, because I don't like a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, But,
yeah, we're gonna do that, Doug, because we need to hear, man, about how all this stuff happening, and definitely here in Frisco, because man, you got the inside scoop. You know how we all got to this point, and it's a lot of misinformation about our division in San Francisco. Why we got, even though Master P was able to get the big, record deal and all that stuff, I think Fig covered that in his interview. But we really need to hear from other people, because
I can say with Fig on his situation, he had the same deal as Master P, and he screwed himself. So, hey man, I call it like I see it. I help both of them brothers execute their careers to go to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So, in a nutshell, it's like, you just get me on the show. If y'all ready to hear the real, tune in to more of Ben's show. Also, if you want to hear more, just tune in and let me get on the show, and I'll tell you the truth.
All right, right on, Doug.
No doubt, brother.
All right, hit you back.
Yes, sir.
So, man, look, we got people that in our own circle, everybody knows somebody. That man, Edwin, we call him Dugga, he worked real close, with the days of before Camiel became this Camiel that's, known through all the whole nation. Doug was very instrumental. And it proves again that, we just need a chance. And with that chance, we need our people to be told the truth and to come together and not sell each other out. So what's going on in Hollywood is really shameful, that in 2024 you still got secrets about what's really happening You know, I said on another show about The Birth of a Nation, that first movie, which came out in early 19th century. I guess it was 1912, I think. And this was one of the. It was a movie that depicted us again in the worst possible light, and it was sent all over. I think at that time the NAACP protested the movie being released, and they knew what they was doing. So Hollywood have always tried to paint a picture of black people as buffoons. You know, you had the Al Jolsons, you know, the Mammies, the just you name it. I mean, it's like the black exploitation of the late 60s, early 70s. We know that if they don't control you, and if they don't get you caught in that spider web network of making you, you know, into who they want to make you into, then you usually will be blackballed, and you will not be able to feed yourself and work in Hollywood because you are, as they say, a troublemaker. But we got to, you know, good trouble. I want to speak truth to power, but I also want to speak truth to people who's powerless, because only until we both have the same kind of knowledge, equality meaning equal, equity, balance. So, you know, Katt Williams, again, let me get back to the beginning of my show. Katt Williams, we need to thank Katt Williams for just opening up our eyes to what's really going on. Hopefully people will do their own, you know, research and look closer at, you know, why people who go into modeling, people go into becoming actors and entertainers, you know, why is it so necessary to control people and make people jump through hoops? We all know somebody that said, I'm going to LA and I'm going to become a superstar. And then you find out that they're doing porno flicks. That's real. How in the hell did you go to LA and say you was going to be a model, but now you are what they call a porno star? It's because when you get there, even these people that maybe have called you or set up some type of so-called appointment for you, and oh yeah, I'm an entertainment rep, or I work for this network, or I know somebody who knows somebody. You get there and they telling you, oh look, you got to go to this warehouse. We're about to shoot this little low-budget movie, this B movie or C movie. And next thing you know, you're compromising your integrity and compromising on who you are and your God-given talents. And now you have reduced yourself to a porno star, which really means you are a movie prostitute or a movie hoe. I know the language is harsh, but look, let's be real. They will take you, use you, and then throw you away. And we have to be mindful that God has us, you know, going in the right direction if we will only set guidelines and limits on what we will do or be willing to do to make it in this world, which is constantly trying to take, again, our integrity and take us from who we really are, which is a vessel, a sacred vessel, and allow them to use us for their own sake. And we know that never turns out good for us. And this is why people lead to drugs, alcohol, all, you name it. And you would think people would go to Hollywood and they will become more happy. But I remember I was watching Jerry Springer. No, was it Jerry Springer? Jerry Seinfeld, the sitcom. And this is a time where Kramer, I guess, is going to LA from New York, and then one of the other guys, his neighbor, said, "Oh, he's going to La La Land." I was like, wow, why did he say La La Land? That's, to me, was interesting, because to say La La Land, it's like a fairy tale. It's like row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. It's all this fairyland. It's a playful thing. It's not real. But when you think about it, they call Los Angeles the city of angels. Interesting. So, again, I'm not saying that, Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and even Ricky Smiley, all of them can speak for themselves. But what I'm saying is that, look, I wish somebody would call me a sellout. I wish somebody would try to pull out my track record and say, I'm a phony. I can prove instantly that I'm about as real as it get. I'm damn near realer deal in Holyfield when it comes to the work. Because if you want to show your heart, I think, again, these comics and celebrities need to put their money where their mouth is and invest in themselves. And you're investing in yourself when you create black institutions. We need supermarkets, grocery stores, supermarkets. We need, education institutions. We need credit institutions, i.e. banks, for our own community. We need equity firms. We need training, vocation facilities. Even in the music industry, we still not, even in 2024, we don't have no mass distribution. We're not crisscrossing America in our own trucks. I know some would say, well, no more tapes and things like that, CDs, so why are you worried about that? We all streaming. Yeah, right. But we still need to have our own distribution, or even our own streaming live channels that keeps the money circulating in the black community. I'm not talking about riding other people's tidal waves, other companies' tidal waves, right? There's plenty of them out there. But what I'm saying is, again, my mind is on institutions, because we all know that one day we're going to die. And I want to see our future generations after us to be able to say, I'm proud of my papa who sacrificed and built this institution that helped me. This is in the future. Create paradise here on earth. So, I mean, it's much more to be said, but again, I'm gonna go back. This is my little homework and assignment, and I want, again, because I used the word unpack, I want to go a little deeper into, behind the scenes. So on my next show, I'm gonna on my next show, I want to really touch on imagery, right? Because when we look at motion pictures and we look at how these movies portray us and how these comedians go from stand up into the movies, and but they put on a dress. Many of them have put on a dress. Wesley Snipes have put on a dress. We already know that Tyler Perry gets I mean, out of all of them, you know, people beat up on Tyler Perry about putting on a dress. I think Tyler Perry got some movies that he have done that, you know, that I guess people don't notice that he don't, you know, he wasn't in a dress. But once you put on that dress, like Katt Williams and others been saying, you know, man, it's this deep. Once you put on that dress, it's almost like they look at you or you're treated a certain way. And I know that there's a conversation behind people's back like, man, this is crazy. But again, you know, we all are growing, we all are learning, and I had to share with you, you know, earlier that even myself at one time, I was told it might be a good idea to get more laughs and to get more attention if we create a comedy skit and I put on a dress. But after I got more conscious about who I am and my purpose and why it's not good for us to ever entertain compromising our integrity and character, I was like, I'm not only I won't put on a dress. If I have to sell who I am as a person to be a fameless comedian, then I'm just gonna have to try to go a different route or do it another way. So I didn't do that. Thank you, Katt Williams, for creating this dialogue and creating this conversation that now it's got us talking, it's got us thinking, it's got us looking at situations that some of us is trying to get to Hollywood and some of us is trying to get out of Hollywood. It's got us going back and forth and having these conversations that's a lot of times it's just not popular, and it makes people feel uncomfortable. And we know that whether it's P. Diddy, T.D. Jakes, and all the other conversation that's going around on social media, black people need to talk. We need to talk. We need to really, really figure out what is keeping us from coming together. So I just wanted to take this little time out. Again, this is the Daniels Podcast Show YouTube channel. If you like this video and you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe and tell a friend. If you have any suggestions of other video topics, share that in a comment when you leave this video. Other than that, thank you for taking time out. Peace. And remember, truth can stand on its own. Let's pay attention.